What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to an episode of the Checked In Podcast. Do me a favor before we start. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell.
Yes, sir.
Because it'll let you guys know every time we upload.
Right now.
But let's get right into this episode. I got another podcaster on the podcast today. It's actually pretty cool, pretty interesting. So we got Rel in the house today.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you having me, brother. How you feeling, bro?
Solid, bro. Not too bad. It feels good to be out here on a Sunday. Normally I come out early.
Okay.
So when I come out early, bro, it's a lot of traffic. Sometimes you get a lot of people that are just...
When do you usually feel? My bad, bro. I'm gonna ask you questions too,
go ahead.
bro.
No,
naturally,
you
I
good.
do the podcast thing too, bro. Sometimes I'm curious as well, like, cause I don't really get to sit down with too many other podcasters as well. So sometimes I'm curious how they do things. But I was gonna say, what time do you usually film at? Like, what's your
Normally, bro, I'll be honest with you. I try to keep most of the filming anywhere between noon to 5. Normally, the only reason why is because most people have shit to do either at night or they want to go to bed, especially on a Sunday,
Really?
since we record on the Sundays. And then most of my guests, like I said, they work Mondays. Today, just because it's Labor Day weekend,
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. It all worked out.
Right.
But yeah, most people want to be home earlier, or sometimes too, Sundays are like either their relaxing days or their grocery shopping days and shit like that. So I try to get it in that nice little sweet spot. Another thing too is that around that time, it's not too bad outside. If you go later on in the day, it starts to get more active outside in the streets. You get louder voices, and obviously we got glass back here, you know. So
Right.
you start to get louder people and shit like that because people are coming out from the bars. So I normally try to keep it between that little sweet spot. But so far I haven't had an issue as far as for too crazy with noises. So that's why it worked out for me.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
Me, I'm more of like, I don't know, like, I would say I try to film either like Sunday through Wednesday in the beginning of the week. That's just where I could like have it edited like in time. You know what I mean? Because you know how long it takes time and trying to get those clips and whatnot. And then I'm honestly the opposite, bro. I try to shoot a little later because especially when it depends where I was. When I first filmed at my house, I think I was more free range. But once I moved to like Hollywood studios, like stuff like this, I think I just because it's more in LA or whatever. Because I'm not really. When I don't live inside LA, I'm like 15, 20 minutes outside. I try to shoot for more like the evening. And I always shoot for like, I always tell them, whatever my guest time I want them there, I really tell them like an hour before or ahead. You know what I'm saying? Because people be late. So,
Yep.
yeah, I just want to let you know I'm sorry today. But yeah, people be late. So always, if you want your guests at a specific time, tell them like an hour before, bro. Because people be lagging, bro. I don't know if you had too much experience with that, bro. But.
For the most part, I adjust for it. But I've had.
I'm pretty sure you gotta have some people that just.
I think
been
the
late,
biggest
right?
thing is like I'm sure you deal with this is cancellations or like last minute like we can't or whatever.
Man, let me tell you about that, brother. Yes, I definitely deal with that, man. The cancellation is definitely one of the things that you have to. I think I had to adjust learning with the podcast and patience and that's why I have an assistant. To be honest with you, bro, because of that situation, so many people. Either like, agreeing to our rescheduling or saying they're going to hit you up when this. I'm not too sure if you you charge people and stuff like that. But stuff like that sometimes gets in the way. Like people are like, oh, when this happens, I'm going to let you know. Or, the whole runaround people give you. I don't know. But it can range from whatever. But yeah, man, I definitely feel you, bro. People be canceling, rescheduling all the time. And like I said, I'm sorry for that, by the way.
Nah, bro. It's what cracks me up is that it's like it's a simple. If your appointment is at like noon, just hit me up at fucking.
Oh,
9.
you mean like last minute type?
Yeah, last minute type.
Yeah. Those,
you know what I mean? That's the thing that gets
worst.
me. Like, it's like, bro, it's not gonna hurt my feelings.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like at least for me, I'm not paying you. You're not paying me. You feel me? It's out of your time, so
it's like a mutual thing. Yeah.
So if you can't make it, just let me know. I don't need a sob story. Just be real. Hey, you know what? I won't be able to make it. All right, no problem. I'm not gonna be one of those that's gonna come after you and be like, why? Why can't you make it? Nah,
Right.
I'm not gonna do that. I mean,
Yeah, because you seem like a hella chill, laid back, cool dude for the most part, man.
Believe me when I tell you, bro, I'm super laid back, super chill. The thing too is like if you cancel, cool. I go about my day. I go do whatever I gotta do. I'm not gonna stress you again because I'm not paying you and you're not paying me. So.
I mean, I felt that, but I still it still irks me when people reschedule, bro.
No,
so because it depends on like the interview, bro. You know what I mean? Like, so there's interviews that I've been waiting on for like a minute, bro, or like something I've been putting a lot of groundwork in, man. And like, when that last minute cancellation, it could be like, it depends on maybe you just haven't had a guest where it's like that important, but that stuff can definitely get frustrating, bro, for sure. Especially if it's something you've been really trying to work on.
If you do your research on shit too. Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Something that you're really looking forward to, bro, and something that you manifested. And I've had a lot of moments like that where it doesn't necessarily, go on my type of timing as well. And you know, yeah, you got to learn to deal with that for sure. I feel
Yeah,
like,
bro.
you know, one podcast to another, man, dealing with guests and just other people, you know, it's like you're dealing with other people's lives and schedules and stuff, like, you know, so it's kind of like sometimes it's just out of your control, bro, and it gets frustrating, you know what I mean? It gets really frustrating, especially when you're really trying to get something done.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I think the thing too is that when I originally started this podcast, it wasn't
Yeah.
even my idea. So
Really?
it was originally my best friend's idea.
Okay.
He this was, I guess, what, maybe coming out of the pandemic kind of. So he had told me, he's like, hey bro, he's all like, let's start a podcast. And that's when podcasts were really, really hot. And I was like, I don't know, bro. I don't know how I feel about that. You know, I don't really care
Yeah.
for it. And then I said, you know what? Fuck it. If you get a mic, I'll get another mic, and then we'll start it.
Okay.
He got the mic. I said, all right, cool. I'm a man of my word. Got
Yeah.
my mic, and then it turned from 2 of us to 3 of us, and then he ended up bouncing, and the other person that was there bounced, and then it was just me. So I kind of adjusted. And the one thing that I will tell you, bro, is that whenever you're dealing with multiple personalities or different people in general,
Yeah.
when it comes to anything, you gotta be okay and understanding that it's gonna happen. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where you just gotta roll with the punches,
Yeah.
and adjust. Like me right now, right? I haven't told anybody or anything like that. It's the first time I'm gonna say it out loud. Is I'm working on a solo thing just without people, just doing whatever, whether it be reviews or whether it be reactions or whatever the case may
On the
be.
channel,
Or,
yeah.
it's gonna be on the channel just so I can have that different type of viewership too. So the podcasting is cool. I like the long format, but also to create something on a shorter form, short form content that people can consume on a quickness. For example, most people have like a 15-minute break when they go to their 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Their 30-minute break. You know what I mean? So something that they can consume pretty quickly. And I was like sitting there thinking about it. And I was like, you know what? I could still do the long form. I'll do the short form and bring in more people to adjust. So that's the one thing about podcasting, bro, that I've learned, or anything in business, is you adjust and you understand that people are going to fail or do last minute cancellations and shit. So that's what I'm leaning towards right now.
So right now it's just you and
My
your friend?
boy Martin. So
But originally it was like 3 or 4 of
it
you
was
guys?
3 of us.
3 of you guys?
Originally, it was 3 of us. My boy that had the idea, my best friend, and then we had a girl named Bao. She was another high school friend, and she was great, but she ended up moving to Arizona. So that kind of separated everything, and then I was like, all right, cool. So now I'm by myself. I got 2 options: either continue, or just say, nah, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know. So I figured I got the space,
Of course.
continue it and go for it. And then obviously I enjoyed doing it, especially when like, you know, I'm sure like you can relate. You meet different people, you have those interactions,
Yeah.
you create that how can I say, that experience with everybody else. And what I learned too is even when people cancel on me, since I'm in downtown LA, I walk around to different bars, I do other stuff, and you meet people.
Yeah.
So like now I'm good friends with a bar down here, cool with all the bartenders. They came to the events or the stuff that we have, like the afters and stuff. And then that's how
Networking.
you get more connects. And then those people might know somebody, right? Because they do live music. And then you go from there and you bring people on.
Yes,
You know what
sir,
I mean?
man.
You got to turn a negative to a positive.
Relationships, bro, for sure. That's definitely, I would say, like a big part of like my journey and my success in my career with the podcast, bro. I feel like just meeting one person after another. So just to, you know, to go off of what you said, for sure, I definitely agree with you, man. Another question, my bad. This is my
No, you
questions.
good.
Yeah. Podcast. So how long you been doing this, bro?
Fuck, bro. I want to say, what, 3 years? Maybe?
3 years?
Maybe, yeah. I want to say.
So you've been putting out podcasts for 3 years? Cause I started my podcast in 2022.
I could tell you right now. Off the top of my head, I don't remember. I know it was still getting out of the pen. Let me see. I'll tell you right off the rip, bro. Because when we originally started, bro, we had just audio. Because we could not figure out the transferring of audio and video.
To the software?
I could not figure it out.
Really?
I couldn't figure it out. And then when I did figure it out, the lips were not lining up with the audio.
Bro, you gotta like, you just gotta, I sync it like this, like.
No, like right now it's synced.
Yeah,
Right
that's
now
what
it's perfect.
Yeah, I don't know. I know there's softwares you can do and all that, but I usually just think it.
Like what's it called? So with this right here, everything is connected now to the camera, right? As
Yeah.
you're aware. So I don't have to do any audio editing at all whatsoever. It's just bring it over and it clips in. That's it. So all I have to do now is just split to whatever I need to do. Zoom
So
in, zoom
your audio recording goes
right now. It goes
with,
straight to the camera.
it goes straight to the camera.
Yeah, I don't have to do anything else. It goes straight to the camera.
That's cool.
And then it goes to the SD, and then I pop out the SD, put it in my Mac, and that's it.
Okay.
So I don't have to deal with anything else. Yeah, so 2 years ago, forgive me, yeah. 2 years ago is when we dropped our first one ever, and that was our little like audio, and that's it. So I think we had, let me see, we had about 10 videos with just pure audio itself before we figured out
Wow.
how to do it exactly like this without having to transfer audio and a video. So now it's just perfectly all in sync.
Okay.
So that little device or that little recorder is the thing that makes it all work.
Yeah, the interface and mixer
Yeah.
over there.
That's literally all it does. It's a traveling one. And the reason why we got that one originally is because the idea was not to have an actual studio. It was to be a traveling type podcast. So that way everything can be a write-off. You want to go on, let's just say someone in New York. You travel to New York, that expenses, everything like that, write-off.
I never
So
thought about
you're
it like that, yeah.
traveling while you're doing that. But shit gets expensive. You feel me? Especially when you're not bringing in the income.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to figure, okay, let's find something stationary, allow it to grow, then that process can transfer.
So how long you been in the studio for?
This studio, not that long, maybe like a year and a half, maybe. So it was a couple months after, yeah, so maybe like a year and a half, almost 2 years, just been here. A little bit of a process to get adjusted, to figure out the lighting, to figure out the video, the depth, everything like that. Because we used to be over there before, on that side where the window's at, but I had a makeshift wall that I created.
Oh, okay.
Because I figured in my eyes, right, before
Yeah.
I got like a different style lens, is this is deeper, so the camera can adjust further and you can get the better angle that you want.
Right.
And then once I got the lens upgrade, I figured, okay, cool. Now I don't need that much distance. Now I can make it wider. So the wider lens gives you everything you need. Right now it's zoomed in. Because if I zoom out, you can
Well,
get
how
from
many
corner to
millimeters?
corner.
How many millimeters is that?
I don't know off top.
Looks like a 55.
I can't even read that shit.
I think it's 55.
Yeah.
Looks like 55 to me.
Can't even read that. But yeah, so once we got that little lens upgrade, figured, okay, let's shift it. Then we could use natural lighting, but they fucking graffitied my shit, apparently.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they decided it was going to be fun for them. And then, yeah, so that worked out best. And then it kind of flowed because now that we have the lights up, it worked out. Those were supposed to be on the floor. And I figured out a way to drill some holes up there, and now they're up there. So it all kind of worked out. So it came out pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's on a tripod just
Literally,
upside down?
yeah, they're literally supposed to be on the floor. They're never supposed to be mounted on the ceiling.
And you just said
I said,
fuck
fuck,
that.
yeah, because since it's thin aluminum, I figured, okay, I could just drill a little hole, and then the gapping itself up there is not too bad. This shit's come pretty much all the way down to here, so I figured, why not? And it worked out. The only issue I have is since this one's closer to the door, sometimes people bump into it because they don't see it, so it's pretty good, though. It worked out. I didn't have to go crazy on expensive-ass studio lighting. You know what I
It's
mean?
nice, bro.
Yeah, it worked out. It's pretty cool. But now let me ask you a question on you. Did you end up having a studio yourself, or do you rent one? How do you go about it?
So I started at my house.
Mm-hmm.
My podcast in my house in 2022. Started a podcast there, and I just was there for about, like I said, a year.
Mm-hmm.
I was recording out the house, pretty much getting everybody from LA to the IE at the time. That's the people I was kind of interviewing, mostly producers and like some artists here and there that I had coming through to the house for the interviews. And then I got sponsored at a studio in North Hollywood a year later, and then I filmed in there for like another year, and I still film in there like occasionally. But right now the newest sponsor we have is this barbershop, so we've been filming some interviews in there.
Oh, that's
So
sick.
yeah, man. And then like I met some cool people along the way, like Desto Dub and Nephew Milo, and there's some pretty known people out there. And Melrose, I've done some content with them inside their stores, both of their stores, and then even the warehouse. So I did some interviews in there as well, and then some other 2 studios around the way
For
too.
sure.
Yeah, man.
So did you end up meeting all these people just based off of the connects that you have, or is it like as a word of mouth type?
I would say most of them was relationships for the most part. I came out strong, bro. Like with the podcast, man. When I dropped my podcast, bro, it's something I kind of planned. I was very determined for it. I just wanted to. I had the camera to set up. It's funny because I was supposed to start with my friend too as well, and then things didn't work out with him. And then long story short, I was kind of left with just this idea that I have. And the thing is, my friend was supposed to be the one that helped me with, like, be the Jamie, like, how to XLR cords and recording and cameras and editing and software. I didn't know about none of that, man. So I think that's the only thing I was probably just didn't know about. But you know what? It just forced me to learn to adapt, man. And sometimes, like, to get things done, like, you have to do it yourself, bro. And to be honest with you, like, I think it makes me a better person today. Like, the fact that I edit and shoot my podcast and know how to, like, do that all the way around, host, and just it's more of an asset, man. It's a valuable skill, like, to learn, you know what I mean, to have things, to know more things about your craft, whatever that may be, you know what I mean. It doesn't hurt you in a way to know how to edit as well and how to work cameras and softwares and whatnot or whatever. So yeah, man. So just from the beginning, that was really tough, just learning how to do all that. And I would say I came out with, when I first interviewed people from high school, so I was like a party promoter type person. And like in high school, I did like a lot of functions and stuff. So I kind of had some relationships with people like DJs and party promoters and some artists here and there that I met through just doing the function things through LA. So I used a lot of those connections to start out. Like, so I started interviewing the DJs, some of the party promoters, and then some artists I knew like AMBJ. He's from LA. One Take Quan, some LA type known based artists. I interviewed them, and then I kind of reached out to the IE at the time. Started interviewing some producers like my boy Run That Back West. Shout out my boy. And then that's how I got cool with like the YTB camp. If you guys don't know, that's like R3 the Chili Man. That's like their thing. So I got to know them through West, the producer. Then I started interviewing some producers from LA. And then, yeah, man, the next thing you know, you're kind of like in this, it's just one thing after another, bro. Like, I don't know, bro. It's just really like you do one interview with somebody and like, just, dude, like as soon as you drop that interview with that person, you got like, at least for me, it was like I had like 3 or 4 people in my DM, like already talking about like, yo, I want to come on, or you know what I mean? So it's just like that, one thing after another, man. And the next thing you know, I'm kind of tapped in with a lot of these producers out here, artists. And then that kind of led to the sponsorship deal with the studio owner as well. He's a engineer, and it's because I was kicking it with Run That Back West and these other producers and stuff. I heard his name. I finally popped up on my Instagram. I just did an interview with him. I didn't even know he like owned a studio. That's so crazy. Like honestly, like I deadass didn't even know he owned a studio. Did an interview with him, and then I showed him like what I was doing and like all the episodes I was doing at the time. Like at a year, I think I was barely at like 400 or 500 subscribers at the time, man. And I think I was just on the verge about to hit 1,000. I said, yeah, man, I started, last year, I've been doing this, and that. And like he recognized a lot of these people because they're mostly like in the music industry. So he was pretty surprised that, I was having some of these people like Cypress Moreno, HBK Josh. He had a lot of people coming to my house doing these interviews, and he was just pretty like surprised by that, for me just being out here starting it, from the house and everything. And that's when he offered to sponsor me. Went to Hollywood, and then I was just kind of doing the same thing in Hollywood for real, bro. It's just kind of like, I was in a different environment. So I got to meet a lot of people, but I was still just doing my thing. Just like I turned up a little more because we were just in studios and stuff. You know how it is, bro, Yeah. So, yeah, man, I didn't mean to go too much into
you're
that.
solid, bro.
Man.
You gotta remember, bro, they, at least the followers that I have and the other people that are gonna see this, they don't know your story. So it's a good thing that you're letting,
Okay, bet, yeah. I'm, like I said, my name's Rel, man, for real. Like, I've started a podcast I want to say about in 2022. I'm going on to my 3rd year right now. My podcast, of course, is The Real Me with Rel. We got some merch on right now. You can always hit me up at The Real Me Clothing if you need that. I'll get you some merch, brother. Send me your size, and I'm
I was expecting something.
My bad, brother.
I was like, damn, I ain't getting no smart.
My bad. What size are you, brother?
I'm a large.
I got you, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
I got you, man. That's my bad, brother. Yeah, The Real Me with Rel. And, I'm just on my way to, I got this vision that I have, that I want to be the next black owned genuine podcast of Los Angeles, man. This podcast thing is there's not a lot of people doing it, man. That's why I commend you on what you're doing, brother. And from what I've seen, bro, you seem like a genuine dude, of course, and then having me on and stuff like that, and just supporting me off the bat, and that's not stuff that as LA, it sounds simple and sounds like, what everyone does, but sadly that's not how it is out here in LA, man. Yep. It's really not, man. And I've been doing this thing for 2-3 years now, and I've got a couple sponsor deals and with Loud Logs, of course, too. Can you pass me that Loud Logs real quick? It's another one of my sponsors. Real quick. We're gonna shout them out real quick. Shout out my guys down on Loud Logs right here, bro. So this is like another brand that sponsors me right here.
For sure. Oh,
yes,
see.
They premium pack of 6, the best hand wash fleece. Must be 21 years or older to purchase.
Almost def.
Yeah, for sure. We just want to make that
These are all the locations right here.
Yeah, so like
Look at that.
depending on like what collab we do with the
That's pretty
pack,
sick.
we do collabs with like different artists like Big Sad or like Frosty the Snowman, and then usually like whatever hood they're from. We usually got the surround. It's like the GTA map if you can't.
Yeah,
if you gotta
I was
recognize
literally
it.
looking at that. I was like,
man.
bro.
It's pretty dope, man. But yeah, I just wanted to add that real quick. But yeah, man, LA, man, it's hard, bro. It's people don't, it's just, I try again on other podcasts, but back to what I was saying, as a LA, I feel like we don't have that many genuine podcasts. If you really look at it, most of the podcasts that we have, bro, are, I would say like media pages, bro. They're not even really podcasts, bro. LA wise, it's mostly people talking about drama or, black trauma and violence and stuff like that. And it's profiting off of that, bro. That's why you have a lot of these white hosts out here that are, using that, man, and making thousands of dollars off of that type of stuff, And I just, for me doing this for 2 years, it does not have to be like that. It does not have to, you know what I mean? Like, everyone has their own way and stuff like that, but I just feel like as of Los Angeles, we need something that we could just enjoy, and that's just like what I've been set out to from what I've started, bro. Just trying to have a genuine conversation. I'm open to have a podcast, whatever. I've interviewed people like entrepreneurs, like like I mentioned earlier in this episode, like Milo and Desto Dub, or artists, producers, female managers, actors. I've interviewed. Even as he's like a jeweler, so he like makes jewelry for like the actors and the rappers and stuff like that. So even talking to him was cool. Different entrepreneurs, like female caterers, she was cool. Like she talked about her catering business and stuff. Yeah, man. The thing is, I just always want to just have a genuine conversation, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll see me interview whoever, whatever it is, but just I want it to be cool and just not, just genuine.
Yeah, bro. And I'll tell you this. I think that's the one thing that I credit it to my grandparents. The reason why I am the way I am when I speak to people and I connect with people is because of them. So like when I was younger, they used to take me to Mexico a lot, and I was more of an introvert when I was younger.
Shout out to the Latino community, by the way, for sure, man.
So and when they would take me out there, they would talk to everybody. I'm talking like everybody. They'd be walking down. They'd be like, there's a store that, hey, how are you? Because you're coming from America, so it's kind of like that connection and shit. So because of them, I started communicating with people, and then I realized how important that is. A lot of people are introverts. They don't like to talk to people, but when you're like that, it's cool. You avoid a lot of problems and stuff like that. But when you're an extrovert, you meet, in my eyes, the connections that you need in life.
Yes.
Whether you believe it or not. Everything, the way that I look at it, it's a lesson. So shout out to my grandparents for that. And because of that, it pushed me towards these kind of things. So like when my friend brought it up, I didn't know I needed it. So now I know I'm like, you know what? I actually enjoy podcasts, and you know what I mean? I need this now in my life in some way, shape, or form, because I talk to people every day. So the way that I'm looking at it now, it's not even so much me telling my story. It's more allowing other people to tell theirs. So not everyone is how can I explain it? Not everyone can, but no one really listens. But when you give them a platform to express their story.
Yeah, man, you hear some stuff, man, for sure.
Not everyone will understand your story, or not everyone has experienced your story. So just them hearing it is kind of an eye look or an opener to say, okay, it's either a lesson for them where they say, okay, let's not do those kind of things where they did and it kind of hurt them in some way, or hey, let me do what they're doing because it's beneficial. Let me see if it works in my life. So there's a lot of that I've learned from these conversations. And then also too, now that we're how can I explain it? We're so connected but disconnected at the same time.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, when you go outside into the streets in general, you realize too, I'm the type of person that I was raised as like, hey, good morning, how are you? I don't know you, you're a complete stranger, but I'm gonna say, hey, good morning. A lot of people don't do that.
Respectful young man.
Yeah, that's how I see it.
Young man.
Like I go into my apartment complex, right? I'm over here in Long Beach now, and in the high rise, obviously you're going up and down the elevator. You're gonna see a lot of people.
Yeah.
So as you're in there, a lot of people, they just kind of they look away, or they kind of like So for me, every time I'm in there, good morning. If I see that they got a little dog, oh, let me see how was your dog? So I communicate, and then you can see their attitude change. They go from defensive to, oh yeah, this is my dog. So I feel like a lot of people are lacking that. They don't do that because they're so more like, oh, no one here is supposed to be friends or something. Like it feels weird.
Yeah, man, communicating and just this new I would say it's a problem. It's been a problem for a minute, but just definitely this new era, generation, whatever we're in. You know what I mean? A lot of people are just in their own worlds, stuck to their phones. I feel like
Yeah.
we're all guilty of it for sure. But yeah, man, honestly, like I checked out some of your podcasts, bro. Like, it really fits you, bro. Like I mean, man, you come off as a good host, bro, confident, the way you speak. I always wasn't like
Appreciate
that,
that.
bro. You know what I mean? Like I did a lot of episodes, man. You know what I mean? So I got better as I went along. You know what I mean? And sharing things I had to do. But you come off really confident, man, for sure,
Appreciate
bro.
that,
And I
bro.
really want to commend you on that.
Means a lot.
Suits you. It definitely
Appreciate that.
suits you,
Means a
brother.
lot. Again, shout out to my grandparents because they did that. It wasn't. If it wasn't for them, I think I would have stayed an introvert for a little
Shout
bit.
out your grandparents,
Yeah,
man.
for real. Because they're man, they're what, in their late 60s, and
Yeah.
the amount of people that come looking for them is crazy around the block. It amazes me when I go to a donut shop and they go, oh, they look at me and they go, hey, is your grandpa? I'm like, yeah. That's my
They're
grandfather.
well known, man.
Yeah, so so shout out to them because they did that for me. But another thing
Yeah.
too, bro, is like I said, I've noticed that a lot of people are lacking that kind of communication.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of people now, they're so distant with each other. Again, even though we're so connected. And another thing that I noticed too is that when I would go out to bars or to clubs or whatever the case may be, when I get invited to go with my friends and stuff, because I'm mainly a homebody. I like
Same.
to be home. You know what I mean?
Same.
And so the times that I do get to go out, sometimes I sit
Drunk?
back and I observe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I sit back and I observe, and I can see certain individuals that they lack that communication aspect, or they don't understand certain things. For example, I'm very sarcastic.
Okay.
You get me? So like,
Yeah.
I'm sarcastic. Some people may take that as disrespect because they may not understand it as me being sarcastic.
Yeah.
And I can see who communicates and who really doesn't. Like,
Yeah.
some people like to be on a higher platform, as in, like, let's just say you say a certain joke and they go, what you mean by that? Instead of being like, oh, okay, I get you.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So they'll give you that. So I can see a lot of people, at least nowadays, they can't even be themselves. Because if they are, it's just like they feel like they're going to get judged by somebody recording or something. Or they might feel in their eyes like, oh, I have to be tough or I have to do this. But in reality, it's like, if you have a cool conversation with people, or even if you see like their straight face and you can get like a cool little crack out of them, you'll be like, all right, cool. Like, you know what I mean? It's a lot that I'm noticing out in the world though, bro. There's a lot that I'm noticing that I'm just kind of like, damn, people just need to talk to each other.
Yeah, no, for sure. My thing is like, I don't know, like, doing this podcast thing, like I don't know, bro. Like, I mean, if your guests, like, who do you basically like be interviewing
Honestly,
with?
anyone and everyone that wants to come on. Like, I'm not picky. I'm not going to try to tell you that I'm in a certain brand that I'm trying to stick to. But the people that I've had on are
Yeah.
either people that have come on twice. But it's just anyone that's, the way that I'm looking at it is like, some people have a story to tell and some people are trying to create a story to tell.
Yeah, well,
know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, like, I don't know, like, yeah, it just depends, bro. Cause like, not on my podcast or, I always separate, like, I do interviews and I do podcasts.
Yeah.
I feel like interviews are different. So that's when you're going to see me with like a figure, entrepreneur, someone you really probably know, you know what I mean? And interviews always usually, man, I would say, nah, cause you do interview multiple times, but it's always that one time, that first interview, you know what I mean? Then the other ones, after that, usually are more like podcasts. Because interviews, like getting to know someone for the first time. Like, this is an interview,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And if we did like another one, it would be more like a pot. Now we'd be kind of like, all right, we know who Jarrell
Yeah.
is at this point. You know what I mean? But yeah. So I mean, when I do podcasts, bro, I be hearing some stuff, man. People be telling me all types of stories, and they be saying stuff that like they've never said before, for real. I don't know. It's just, I think, bro.
It's,
You're gonna I don't know, you're gonna have some episodes, bro. I feel like, I'm pretty sure you've already had some, bro, where you came on, like, you started hearing some stuff that you're
Oh,
like,
for sure.
damn, bro.
I had
People get into it, bro.
I had a
for
girl
real.
that came on and she was dealing with like a whole domestic violence type thing.
Yeah, right. And
I
they
was
talk
just
about
like,
some whole other
I
stuff,
was
right?
like,
Yeah, no,
damn.
you end up really finding out some stuff about
Yeah.
people on this pod. I think that'd be the most surprising. Like, people be talking about all types of stuff, man. Like, who was I interviewing, bro? I don't want to expose none of my guests, for real. To be honest with you, I don't even
No, I
want to do
feel
that.
it. But yeah, bro, that's the one thing that trips me out too, is that I originally thought, like, coming onto the podcast,
Yeah.
my mentality was like, oh, I'm gonna try to have entrepreneurs, or I'm gonna try to have like individuals that have a story to tell me, someone
Yeah.
that's cool in a way, right? But then I realized the thing that I found more relatable is the people that are just like everybody else. that go to work, do their normal stuff, because those are the type of people that, in my eyes, I find more interesting. Not necessarily someone that has a bigger platform. The reason why is because most people that have a bigger platform, you kind of know their story. They'll tell you their story right off the rip on their social media, or through their music, or through their movies, or however they want to do it. And it's kind of like, oh, okay, like cool. Like I could watch a J. Cole interview, right? And I kind of already know J. Cole, everything about J. Cole. But when you look at someone that you've never seen before, and that's in most eyes a nobody, right? You get to see that experience that they're going through may be relatable.
Yeah.
So whether it be like, hey, you know what? I got fired from my job. I was struggling. I lost my apartment or whatever. And then someone will be like, damn, I was almost like that. And then you'd be like, damn, let me see how they handled it, or what they went through. Or someone might be out there living in their car right now that I might have a guest be like, yo, you know what, bro? I lived in my car for a year. And then you'd be like, damn, that's relatable. And then that's what I learned that connected more with than someone that had a higher up status or whatever. Because what do I know about fucking, in my eyes, the way that I see it, I'm like, it's cool to learn it, but bro, I can't relate to fucking those big ass chains or whatever the cake. They say, oh, like, bro, I got another chain. I can't relate to that. Right. But it's cool. But yeah, I figured a lot of things that I enjoy more are just like the regular average Joe type. Yeah. That might have those kind of conversations that are relatable.
Okay. Yeah. For sure. I can respect that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I would say this though, like, from my experience, my podcast, I do agree with you on that for sure. I don't know. My podcast is like, it's always been in like different seasons. You know what I'm saying? And like,
I did see that. Yeah.
It's different seasons, bro. Like it's what's been going on. So like season 1, you're going to catch more of my friends on there, like a lot of podcasts, some interviews, you know what I mean? We also do shoot vlogs as well. We shoot vlogs. But I will say, engagement wise, yes, you would be surprised. The people that are average, or how you said, like the everyday people that more people can relate to, will have more relatable stuff and higher engagement. You would be surprised about that because you brought up the point with, when you do interview somebody that's more of a higher status or someone that everybody knows, yes, it's, it's kind of like, I would say, like, you already kind of know what's it about or whatever. Yeah. But I will say this, though.
If they got drama, though, sorry to cut you off, but if they got drama, it'll get...
Yeah, but I will say this, though. For me, interviewing bigger people, like, I mean, from interviewing, like, actually millionaires, like, my boy Dub and Milo and whatnot, it's really actually cool because the thing that you actually do find out, bro, is that they're just like everybody else.
Oh, I believe it.
So that's honestly the coolest thing too. So when I'm interviewing these entrepreneurs or my guests, we really break down, before that, I go all the way. I'm like, first thing I usually ask people in my interviews is like, before we get into this, like, what were you like as a kid? Tell me what you was like kid, and they tell me like, okay, I was like this growing up. Then it's like, okay, cool. Let's fast forward. High school. What were you doing in high school? Where were you at? Were you in sports? You know what I mean? What was going on? And then you really get to find out that these people are just like us too. Yeah. And they all have their different journeys and, how they go up and, just like me and my journey, and that's not the same as yours. You know what I mean? But we all go through the same thing. I was there too, bro. I don't know exactly, like, my follow-up question was going to be for you is like, what exactly is your vision for your podcast, bro? And where do you want to take your podcast?
As far as for the podcast itself, what I would like to grow it into is a medium. Now, the podcasting is cool. I like the podcasting. But I figured if I'm going to do a podcast, I want it to be more of a... When I say the media, I think of it as a channel that you see. Let's just say like KTLA, ABC type, right? It's their own... media corporation that has multiple things. They have shows, they have everything.
Oh, so just different content.
Yeah, just different content. That's what I would like to do as far as with this, to grow it. Okay. As far as for the podcasting itself, I would like to expand it and get better, more interesting people. Even if whether it be, I guess you could say the most relatable one that I can tell you is the Joe Rogan one. He has literally everyone on there, whether it be political, whether it be geologists, whether it be anthropologists, whatever the hell it is, they have them on there, and people watch that for a reason. Okay. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I want to do a 5-hour podcast, because I don't, right? Because I'm editing everything, and an hour is cool with me. Man. But if the conversation is great... And
if Joe Rogan came in here, bro, you would do a 5-hour podcast.
I would do an hour podcast. I'm not even bullshitting you. I would do an hour podcast. Wonder why? Because Jamie ain't editing my shit. It's
I
gonna
mean,
be
bro,
me.
but you gotta. That's the thing, though, bro. It's
I'm gonna be like, brother, no.
5 hours is stretching. That's just really long
Nah,
time.
yeah,
That's
for
kind of
real.
like not like an ideal time like of a podcast, but that's like really really long time.
Yeah, no, but Joe,
But I
Joe
would-
has those though. He has
he
those
does.
4 hour, 5 hours, and I'm just like, I don't know if that would be for me, unless the
Well, dude,
individual
has
would
a-
be so crazy.
Well, he has a
entertaining, you know?
production team, like you know
No,
what I
that's
mean.
true.
Like,
That's true.
of course, like it's not gonna be ain't nothing to
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
5 hour. You don't edit.
No, but I
nothing,
look
you know
at
what
it. I'm thinking about it as like me. 'Cause, like,
Right.
technically, in my eyes, the way that I see it is, although I do have my boy Martin that pulls up and helps me out. Technically, I am a one man team, right? Like I do my own edits. I do make sure I talk to everybody. I do everything on schedule. Everything all. It's just a one man team. So for me, in my eyes, I'm like, if I can get at least an hour of a certain person's time,
Yeah.
I'm happy.
I wouldn't be closed minded to it though. Like, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm asking you what you did say, like how you want your podcast to be laid out, but like, what do you want to be like? Like, see me, I have goals, bro. Like, it's like certain goals I'm trying
Mm-hmm.
to hit. You know what I'm saying, bro? So like, 1,000 subscribers. I want to get that. I want to be
Right.
monetized. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be respected as a host in LA. There's certain
Mm-hmm.
things like I want to achieve, bro. So with your podcast, back to you, brother. Where do you like really want to take it? Do you want to be monetized, bro? Do you want to have sponsored deals? Like that's certain stuff I really
For
wanted
sure,
in my podcast.
for sure. But I think
You know what I mean?
I'll tell you this: as much as I want that,
Yeah.
I'm not looking for it. What I am
course.
looking for is just more of a connection, because I feel like if the interviews themselves are relatable and honest, and people can
Yeah, of
can really
course.
like see that. For example, like you said, right? You said you looked at some of my interviews and you said, oh, you know, you look like a chill dude. You look like this, right? So that's what I want people to see. I think the authenticity of the channel is what's going to
Okay.
grow it. It's what's going to bring those people.
So
now.
you're focused on like the perception of your podcast.
Yeah, so I want to make sure that people, when they see this and they come on, off camera, on camera, I'm the same.
Okay.
And I want them to understand that if you're going to come on here, I need you to be the same. I
Yeah.
don't need you to pretend to be something you're not and then go off camera and then people see you and then you're an asshole. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that this podcast is a genuine podcast and grows
Yes, sir, man.
genuinely. You feel
Genuine,
me?
bro, for
So the last thing I want to do is, like how you were saying, right? There's some certain individuals that do the podcast game, that they do it for the clicks, they do it for the bait, they do
Yeah.
it for all that, the drama, all that. I'm not into that. I'm into a real genuine conversation.
good.
So that's what I'm looking for. And I think that when you have that, it's good to have the goal though. I'm not trying to knock that at all. It's good to have obviously you want to hit the monetization status, because why? It'll help you out, it'll help you grow. So the funds that come in through that will help the channel grow.
Yes.
All of that is great. Obviously you want to hit 100,000, 500,000, a million subs, right?
Yeah.
And the end goal is to be as great as either, if not greater than the ones that are out now. Of
course.
Based off the whatever it is that you end up doing. But I figured out while watching podcasting is that the more authentic you are, the more it's going to grow, and all of that's going to come.
Man, I'm a living proof of that, brother.
Yeah, you
for
see what I'm
sure,
saying?
Man,
So-
I took my podcast from 0 videos to 0 subscribers to I got 1,000 subscribers in a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to to this day I would say I've like.
That's a big accomplishment, bro.
Thank you, brother.
A thousand subscribers. I don't think people understand that. Like,
It's
if
yeah.
you've never had a YouTube channel, 1,000 subs is a lot harder to get than
It's
you think.
very tough. It is very,
Very
tough,
tough.
to get 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
easier, obviously, on social media,
Yeah.
Instagram, all this. It's easier. But when you're doing the YouTube game, that's a big accomplishment.
Yes, sir.
So that right there deserves a big congratulations.
Thank you,
and
brother.
everything,
Thank
So
you,
believe
man.
that.
I really appreciate that. Yeah, man. That's something I was very proud of, and just something that I set out to achieve when the first year within starting my podcast. And a lot of great things came after that, but it was just a big deal because, of course, like, monetization and stuff like that's something
Yeah.
that's a requirement. And yeah, it is very tough. And I have thousands of people that watch my podcast, but getting that getting the people to subscribe is a whole different story, man.
It is, bro.
For sure. And I'm in like, I just set small goals, bro. Just try to get like 10 a day.
That's
all I
good,
do.
bro.
Just try to get like 10 a day.
You've seen right now, like when I did the intro, right?
Yep.
I don't want to do that shit forever. Be like, hey, what's going on? Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You don't, because at the end of the day, you want to have that monetization status, but you also want to have that natural growth. I don't always want to tell you to do it. You know
To
what I mean?
subscribe?
Yeah, I don't always want to tell you.
Man, you gotta
But
tell
if-
you gotta tell your people, bro. You
But-
gotta
but
be like,
notice,
yo,
though-
man, like make sure you guys. I always tell my videos, I'd be like, bro, make sure before we get into the episode, I say make sure you guys click out this video right now and hit the subscribe button, please. A lot of people don't do it. There's so many people that probably watch your content, bro, and don't realize that they are not subscribed.
Right,
so
right.
yeah, you got to tell them, man.
But notice,
for sure.
notice the thing for me that
Once you get to a
is-
certain point, you probably
Yeah.
don't. But I mean, it doesn't hurt, man. Like I mean,
it doesn't. But
Yeah.
the reason why I say it is that I want to get to the point where I don't have to. It's kind of like the saying goes, you want to walk into a room and not have to introduce yourself.
Yeah, but
It's kind of like that.
I felt that too, bro. Like, I want to be respected out here too, bro. But see, like, I had to gain the respect from certain people and get, you know what I mean, known like A&Rs and publicists. And those are like not my best friends, but those people that's helped me out a lot of my journey. But you gotta get the respect from certain things by doing things like, you know what I mean, like. You know, I was just out here reaching, bro. Like, I used to be the same way. I wanted people to come on my podcast and just because I'm lit and everything like that. But, man, you have to go through things. You got to do the episodes. You got to talk to the people, get your name respected, and get that experience and stuff like that, bro. So when you do come through to that moment or whatever that you're trying to do, you're ready, bro. Because, you know, like Desto Dub, that's probably one of my biggest interviews right now. Because we got this Rap for the Plug interview that's going to be dropping pretty soon on the channel. That's probably going to be the next biggest one on the podcast. But Desto Dub, I would say, is the biggest one. But I tell everybody this. A lot of people are like, oh, man, how do you meet Desto Dub? You know, I met Desto Dub, I want to say the first year of my podcast was like, I was going on to my second, I think. And I pulled up to the store. I introduced myself, like I said, back to the word of mouth thing. You know, we vlogged this situation, everything like that. There was a pop-up at the store. Pulled up. I said, you know, what's up? My name is Jarrell. You know, I'm going to be the next Black-owned podcast. I'd love to have you on. He said, all right, bet. Get my number down. But back to what I'm basically saying, right? So I met Desto Dub. At this time, I wanted to do the interview with bro. I felt like I was ready to do the interview with bro. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. Not because necessarily he didn't want to do it, but, you know, you're dealing with, you know, these type of guests. And like we said earlier in this episode, is their personal things that go on. That they, you know what I mean? Like, and we're doing bigger people, like people I interview, like they go on tour with artists, or they got them things going on with the store, or
last minute booking.
Yeah, or they're doing all types of stuff, man. So it's just certain things that are going on, right? And at the time being, I'm at the house still. Like when I met him, right, I still wanted to pull up, and you know, long story short, bro, by the time I interviewed Dub, I would say like it was probably like 5-6 months later. That small period of time from when I met him to the interview, when I did the interview, I had 1,000 subscribers already, and I had a studio deal, you know what I mean? And I think I had like a couple other artists at the time or producers that he knew as well, like a little before that episode came out or when we filmed ours. So the point is, man, like, you got to go through things, brother. Like, I don't know. At the time, I wanted it to be done, bro, but it's like, sometimes timing doesn't work like that, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work like that.
The journey's a lot.
Yeah, bro.
The journey's amazing.
You know what I mean?
I'll tell you this. Like, kind of going back to like the question when you asked me what I want to do with the podcast is, I guess a simple way to say this too is, since obviously I want it to be genuine, but I want to make sure there's always a journey, because you don't want to have a destination, because once you hit it, it kind of feels like, all right, I'm good. You know, like obviously it's good to have goals. Yeah. Because like you said, you want to hit that 1,000 sub mark. You want to hit that 2,000 sub mark.
It's definitely.
You always want to grow.
For
you
sure.
know what I mean? You always want to have those goals, because I figure if you have goals, that means you're hungry for more. Yeah. Which is good. You never want to plateau or stay stable. Even the greats will tell you that. Why do you think, for example, like let's just say a Kobe Bryant, right? Guy woke up every day, went to the gym, 4 a.m., even after the fact. He still went after. So it's someone that already has the championships. It's someone that already has it all in a sense, right? But he wants more. You know what I mean? So it's good to have those type of things. And I think you for sure, you're going to grow a lot bigger.
I'm very ambitious.
And, you know what I mean? And it's good to have that ambition.
Thank you.
It's really good to have that. And when I was watching, obviously, some of your podcasts, I was just looking at them. And I was like, you know what, bro? I was like, looking at you and how you connect with your guests is also dope.
Thank you, brother.
You know what I mean? So it's cool, and the guests that you have are very interesting guests. I think for the most part, it's crazy to me, because when we were talking about producers and engineers and all that other stuff, I have a boy. His name is Uno, and his name. Well, I'm trying to remember the artist's name, but anyway, when he does his instrumentals and everything like that, it says I forget his name. I'm forgetting his name right now. I don't know if it's One Take J. I don't know who it is. But he says, tell Uno loaded. No, Scum tell Uno loaded up.
Scum tell Uno loaded up. Yeah. I've heard that before.
So that one right there. So Uno, and he knows obviously Scum Beats. I'm assuming that's his name, right? Scum Beats.
Yeah, I think I've heard that name. Yeah.
So I grew up with him through high school.
Oh, cool.
And believe it or not, I used to do music with him, right?
Oh, cool.
So it was fun. It was something that I was in the moment. It was just entertaining for me. Yeah. It was fun. It wasn't something that in my head, I'm like, look, bro, I ain't gonna be the greatest Eminem type rapper out here. I'm not. But it was cool. And now watching him and his progress and do all that stuff, and then I've watched him on some interviews and stuff like that, so it's cool. And when you're doing your interviews and I watched some of them, it kind of reminded me of that, and I was like, damn, like it's cool to see that, because it's like I felt like when I was watching yours, I felt like I was watching him in a way, when I say watching that growth of someone that you felt like you known for a long time, even though I connected just with your videos.
Right.
So it's cool. So the connections
you're making, I really appreciate that, brother.
The connections you're making in those videos, it felt like I was already connected to you, because you're such a genuine person too, the way you're talking to. So that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, it was just relatable, and I just thought I had to mention that really fast.
Man, I really appreciate hearing that, bro. I really try to bring, you know, the best genuine interviews to my channel, man, and just like, you know, just off camera. Like, I've always been a very outgoing person, like my boy, you know, like damn near my whole life. I've always been like that, outgoing. I get that confidence. You know, I know you mentioned your grandparents.
Yeah.
Mine comes from my mom, man. My mom was
Shout out to moms.
yeah, my mom was always pushing me to, you know, do things. Like, she gave me that confidence, like even things that I thought I never could do. Like, she just always told me, like, I don't know, she just instilled this confidence in me that's still in me to this day, that I could do like anything. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question. Sorry,
yeah, brother.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
So, was your mom single mom when she raised you?
No, my mom's married. Yeah.
Okay.
I was adopted when I was young.
The only reason why I say that is because my mom was a single mom, but my mom was giving me the same advice as your mom was, and I was like, let me ask to see if maybe that's,
I could feel it, bro. For sure, definitely.
So for me, the only reason why I asked that is because when my mom would tell me that stuff, she would tell me in a way of she's doing things by herself, so she understands how hard some things can be. So she wants you to pursue those goals that maybe she didn't get to. So that's why I was thinking. That's why I was listening. I was like, let me ask. Yeah. So I was like, let me ask. But
yeah, no, I wouldn't say. Well, I don't know. My mom, she was just like very old school. You know, I was adopted when I was like about 2 years old. You know what I'm saying? I was adopted by, you know, two of my moms. They adopted me when I was 2. And the one specifically I'm talking about right now, she very old school. They, you know, they're born in the 60s, 66, I think. So they're like a little older. You know what I mean? She grew up in Northern California, like a small town called Petaluma out there. And, you know, she's one of 6 children. Didn't have, you know, pretty much worked for everything she got for to this day. You know what I mean? Wasn't spoon fed anything or had to, you know, have a silver spoon or anything like that. But yeah, I don't know. She just, I don't know. I think it comes from my grandma, I guess. You know, they just, you know, they had a rough kind of life growing up. You know what I mean? But I think love is something that kept my family so strong together. You know what I mean? Even through the tough times that my mom went through growing up. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where a lot of my mom's heart comes from. You know, when it comes to me, and that's just what she passed on to me. You know what I'm saying? She raised me very, you know, very old school. You know, she did the shit like, you know, man, I'm trying to think of some shit my mom would do, man. What did? I'm trying to think of some shit. Okay, she like, I remember one time, like, she like, in middle school, she just like, I didn't even know, she just like pulled up to my school, bro. Like, and went to like she was in like all my classes. Like, 'cause I was just misbehaving in middle school and shit like that. I got my ass whooped, spanked. You know what I mean? I had to pick out the paddle and which one you.
But it worked out though.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah. You know what I'm saying?
It worked out.
And
though.
I'm a very firm like believer in that. You know what I mean? Like, I was very raised old school. I think it's very important that your parents like guide you. Yes, discipline you and like like see me, like I was very like I had to be in sports, you know what I mean? I had to be in something, you know what I mean? I couldn't just be out on the street hanging out, like, you know what I mean? I had to be in athletics or doing something, you know what I mean? And you know, if your grades are this, you don't get that. You know what I mean? Like, just simple things like that. Like, I think it's very important when you're a kid, bro, because you don't know any better, bro. You really don't know any better, bro. You're just a kid out here and you don't know nothing. Like, and I think growing up is just a big, you just realize you just don't know as much as you think you do. Like, I feel like that's just all growing up really is. Like, you just figure out that life is more complex than what you thought it was before.
You know what's crazy though is that she installed consequences to you.
Yeah, man,
you know
discipline,
I mean?
bro.
And a lot of people don't see that, especially when you're little and you don't have someone to give you that guidance or try to be as that tough love per se.
Yeah,
is that you do things without thinking of the consequences. Impulse, right? That's what it is. So sometimes you need to have that guidance or that discipline that help you out in the long run. So by the time you get older, you start to realize, like right now, right? You have this vision board per se, right?
Yes,
that you have these things that you want to do. You understand the consequences because you understand if you put in this work, you're going to get this result.
Yeah.
Sometimes it may not be the result you want, but it's the result that's going to give you that eye opener of like
consistency,
yes,
bro. You have
yes.
to keep going, man. You just, you know what I mean, man. I've had very discouraging moments in my podcast, bro. Like I literally had times where I did not, want to, and I'm honestly, I think I've never said this before on camera, but like I had times where I really was thinking about quitting my podcast, bro. I was just like, man, this isn't working fast enough. Like I have things that happen off camera, bro, like financially, like, you know what I mean, or with, my family or whatnot, and I'm only 23 to this day, but my podcast has seen me from 19. I was just about to turn 20, like right before the podcast. So I would say from 20 to 23, and just I'm in my young adult years right now, and very transitions from living situations to jobs to all types of things that I've dealt with off camera. You know what I mean? And just having this vision and trying to push it across and trying to, get things done and dealing with, people not sticking all the way around or, you know what I mean? Not fully, believing in it. And, I've had, we talked about some of that stuff on the podcast and stuff, but, yeah, man, it's tough, bro. It's tough. You have to keep going, bro. And, like right before I felt like things weren't working, like I think I just got to deal with Hollywood, bro. Like I swear I was like, I felt stuck. I felt like I was getting the guest people in my house, but it just, something just wasn't, you know what I mean? Like I was like, bro, like I just feel like, the thing was I wasn't outside with these people, out there in LA and Hollywood, it was just limited, you know what I mean? So you feel like, dang, am I even, and we all feel there, man, where we feel like we're not progressing, but you got to look back. And, I look back all the time, and even sometimes when I need that reminder, like I turn on my episodes from season 1 because I try to look, I'm like, dude, like I remember right here, like I didn't even have a shadow box light, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I remember right here, I didn't even have whatever the case is, the studio or whatever it is that I have to this day with sponsor deals and all types of cool stuff that I've gotten along the way, man. And for sure, I'd say like you got to be consistent, man. You just little things, set out little goals, achievements. You know what I'm saying? Set out little things. Like I said, the subscriber thing, I really try to give sauce on that, bro. I really try to tell people like you just got to break that number down, bro. If you do 10 subscribers, bro, like 3-4 times out the week, that's 40 subs, bro. You obviously, and not every day you're gonna get 10. You know what I mean? You're gonna have some days, so you want to like average that out, right? You do that at least, every week or every other week. That's still at least a minimum 80, 90 subs, bro. You do that for a couple months. You could literally have 400 or 500 subscribers within a couple months, bro. I was on Omegle, bro. Like I was on there talking to random people, telling people to subscribe because I want it bad. Like I don't care what it is, bro. Like I was like, bro, subscribe to my podcast. I even did this thing where like I went through everybody I was like following on Instagram, and like if you don't subscribe to my, you know what I mean? I really make sure, like, you know what I mean, bro? Yeah, you gotta want it bad, man.
Yeah, bro. I'm trying to remember who. I think it was Gary Vee. I seen the random clip randomly. Yeah. And Gary Vee's always dropping dimes, bro. Anytime you get it,
fucking Gary Vee, bro.
He always drops some random dimes. I think the most funniest.
You fuck with Gary Vee?
Yeah, I fuck with Gary Vee. Now the only reason why I say this as far as for. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I fucking drink all the Kool-Aid he spits. Nah, but there are some dimes that he drops where this one, for example, he said, "Hey, you know what? If you're gonna start a business and you're not the type of person to ask for help or anything like that, the one thing that I would recommend for you to do is go through your contact list." Yeah. Right? I may be watching this. It may not be word for word, so just don't quote me 100% on it.
For sure.
So
something like this.
Something in a way where he said, look, if you're going to do business, this is what you need to do. Go through your contact list, call every single person and say, hey, look, I'm not the type of person to ask for anything from anyone or anything like that. But this is the only time I am going to ask you. I'm going to start, he said, a lawn care business, right? And if I'm not saying you have to hire me, but if you may know someone that might need that type of service, all I ask is that you recommend me. That's the only thing I'm ever asking from you. I'm not asking you for funds. I'm not asking for nothing. Just a simple word to mouth, pass along. I'm starting my lawn care business, and if you know someone, just let them know. And he said, do that to every person in your phone, and you might get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You never know. Yes, but that one may lead you to another one. Say, hey, look, my neighbor over here might need this. Just like my car wash guy, right? My car wash guy came to my crib, right? Wash my car, boom. Neighbor hit up, hey, yo, how much you charge? Oh, when do you come? Okay, cool. Can we do that?
Relationships, bro.
That's just how it is.
Relationships, bro. I'm a living proof of that, man. Like, I went from, like I said, the house to Hollywood, sponsored deals to interviewing millionaires and all types of cool shit. And, it really just is one person after another, man. You could see it from my podcast, man. I literally started in my house, chilling, just, you know what I mean? One person after another, man. And then once thing you know it, like the car wash dude, the lawn guy, you're in this whole circle, bro. And it just takes one person to rock with you or to, You know, it could be sometimes faster than usual, man. You know, sometimes it's not even doesn't take that long. Sometimes it just takes the one person that rocks with you, that puts you on to whatever that may be, and next thing you know, it, boom, 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 boom. Yep.
Just like you said, that one person that rocks with you. I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
It amazes me, and it has still amazed me, at the individuals that send me a message saying, "Hey, yo, bro, just finished watching your podcast, and I found this entertaining, or I have this, or whatever."
Yeah.
And it's from the person that I would least expect it from.
Man, those are the people that be watching.
You know what I
man.
mean?
Those
you
people that
would
be
you would
watching.
expect your circle to talk about you about it more, but it'd be the most random
It'd be the people you
individuals
haven't
that you
seen
didn't
in a
even know.
minute. I mean, swear to God, like my thing is like, it'd be the people I don't be like. I swear, the people that don't. I just agree with you, bro. For real.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I run into some people, it'd be the people that don't show no love on my podcast. That'd be like, all of a sudden when I talk to them about, yeah, I'd be like, what you been on, like, and they'd be like, as soon as they be like, oh yeah, I seen your podcast, like and they start quoting all this stuff that I've been doing. I'm like, bro, that's crazy, like, you know, yeah, for sure.
And that's the thing, bro. Like,
yeah,
to end it off with this real fast,
for sure.
When I had the little anniversary party,
Shout out that, yeah.
it amazed me at the people that I invited that brought a +1 or whoever they had brought, that those individuals I didn't personally send the invite to, that were like, yo, I actually watch your podcast, or hey, I like this episode.
Oh, they was telling you?
Yeah. So it let me know in my head, I'm like, damn, I didn't even consider shooting you an invite because I didn't think you would have popped out or even had interest into the podcast, but it turns out you did have interest. And they would even tell me, oh yeah, I was watching this one. Some of them would tell me about the domestic, the video, and they would just talk to me about it. And they're like, yeah, bro, like this was crazy, and I'm like, damn, like you actually watched and you sat through a lot
Well,
of
I'll
it.
tell you this right now,
You know what I
brother.
mean?
I'll tell you this right now, man, and I wish you the absolute best success in your podcast, bro.
Appreciate
for real.
it, bro, for real.
And like I would say this from one podcast to another, man. Back to what I said earlier into this episode, LA is very like that, man. I do a lot of things, and there's a lot of people, including people that you don't know, or people like, you run into that act like you aren't doing what you're doing, man.
Yep.
And my advice to that is to ignore that shit and just know that the people that you, of course, think they aren't watching, they are watching, and people really will just watch you and not show love, and you just have to kind of get like, I would say not used to, or just kind of like comfortable, or accept that fact. You know what I mean? Because people will do that, man. They really do watch you, and you know what I mean, won't like your stuff or won't comment or say anything until they see you and stuff like that. And that's just part of, I think anyone could probably relate to that. Any entrepreneur out there doing music, podcasting, YouTubing, streaming, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Try not to get upset at that, with that validation. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when I first wanted to do the podcast, I remember everyone's faces. I remember everyone telling everybody. I went through my contact list too, and I told everybody. And I remember no one had anything to say. And it didn't start, people didn't start, start shouting me out or start DMing me, this is cool, and until I got the ball rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And I started proving to them that this is real, man, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that, X, Y, and Z, and stuff like that, man. So, yeah, man, that stuff comes along, bro, for sure. But don't let that shit ever get to you, brother. Ever get to you, man.
No, that's
Most definitely.
word.
I just wanna
That's
come
real
with that.
shit.
Yeah.
And just remember, just because it's taking you longer and someone else got it before you,
Doesn't mean it's better. Yeah.
doesn't mean it's better. All right, because there's a lot of
100%.
stuff out there that just it may be like a one-hit wonder type shit, and you might actually be the hit. So
For
just
sure.
remember that. But with that being said, guys, I just want to end it off on this note. I want to say thank you, brother, for coming on.
Brother, I
Again,
appreciate you having me,
You
man.
have an amazing podcast. You're an amazing person,
Thank
and
you,
I can
brother.
tell just by watching the videos. And I know
Thank
you're
you.
going to be more successful.
I appreciate
so,
that.
guys, if you haven't already, do me a favor. Click the description down below, and all his information is going to be there.
Yes,
so
sir.
go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and check him out. Watch some of his videos and get to really know him.
course.
So, again, guys, if you haven't already, do me a favor. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell.
Yes, sir.
And, yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Appreciate it, man.